That night lingers in my memory, marked by the sudden eruption of my sister's voice. What seems to be the issue? As I sat before the screen, the ambience around me was nothing short of breathtaking. Jackson, where have you gone? Please assist me. What seems to be the issue? Filled with a sense of urgency, as though an emergency loomed nearby, I sprang to my feet and inquired, "What's the matter?" Her voice resonated from the restroom, laced with disbelief. I had overlooked my garments. Would you be so kind as to venture up to my room and retrieve them for me? My sister was a kind and caring soul, yet she often struggled with her memory. She had once asked me to buy anything for her, but this occasion felt distinct. I ascended to my chamber. She searched for the garments she had abandoned and carried them down to the restroom. As I knocked, she swung the door open a bit wider than normal, her hands moving quickly to gather the scattered clothes. Yet in that fleeting instant, the bathroom light shimmered upon her fair skin, illuminating every contour of her form that I had not anticipated encountering. Confusion washed over me, prompting a swift glance in another direction. Yet my heart continued its relentless rhythm, and my gaze remained inexplicably drawn to the image before me. Since that day, I, Jackson, have sensed a profound change within my heart. She remained my sister, the one person in the house to whom I felt closest, yet the eerie, unsettling sensation from that moment persisted, drawing me into a vortex of dark reflections. Uncertainty loomed over me as I grappled with the idea of facing her, and, in truth, facing myself. This year, my sister Myri celebrated her 24th birthday. She is a breathtaking and self-assured woman who captivates the gaze of all those in her vicinity. Her figure is slender, her face is delicate, and most notably, her waist is strikingly captivating, impossible to overlook. Embracing her free-spirited essence, she often adorns herself in sleek, form-fitting garments. Whether in the comfort of her home or amidst the bustling world outside, those costumes seem to accentuate her beauty in a way that captivates me. Intentional or not, they send my heart racing each time I catch a glimpse. Since that fateful night, when I caught a fleeting glimpse of her in the bathroom through the half-open door, my heart has undergone a profound transformation. The soft yellow glow danced upon her fair skin, while the shimmering water cascaded over her curves, etching the moment into my memory forever. It is clear that such events ought not to have transpired, nor should they have remained in my mind for an extended period. Yet, that feeling, that persistent fixation, lingers like a specter, haunting me and refusing to depart. Initially, I attempted to persuade myself that all would eventually fade and that the vision was merely an unfortunate happenstance. Yet, each night as I settled into bed, the images of the day returned to me with striking clarity. There were moments when I would awaken in the stillness of night, beads of cold sweat tracing down my forehead, grappling with the unwelcome thoughts that invaded my mind. Yet, the harder I fought, the more those emotions tightened their grip on me. Each day, akin to a flame that consumed my rationale, she persisted in her tranquil existence within our modest abode, blissfully ignorant of the turmoil brewing within me. She laughed and joked with me as she always did, her familiar clear voice ringing in my ears. What once felt ordinary now stirred something deeper within me, as I caught a glimpse of her sparkling eyes and inhaled the delightful scent of her perfume, filling my heart with an unfamiliar warmth. There was an inexplicable sensation within me, one I couldn't quite articulate. All I understood was that I had lost my sense of self. Her fitted attire added a layer of complexity as she settled onto the sofa, legs elegantly crossed while watching TV, or when she gathered her hair, exposing her graceful neck and bare shoulders. Each detail ensnared me in a web of contradictory emotions. Humiliation washed over me, a deep-seated shame intertwined with an undeniable, elusive yearning. Still, I endeavored to maintain an air of calm composure. I engaged in conversation and shared laughter with her, as though the past had never transpired. I assisted her with small tasks around the house, engaged in light conversation about everyday matters, and at times, playfully teased her. I yearned to witness her smile, yet beneath those exchanges lay an internal struggle whose resolution remained a mystery to me. I averted my gaze, hesitant to meet her eyes for too long, afraid she might uncover the turmoil within me. After a long day, I chose to unwind in my room with a film intended for mature audiences. This wasn't my first experience with such a thing, yet perhaps due to my fluctuating emotions and the chaotic nature of my recent thoughts, everything appeared more alluring than ever before. After watching, I reclined on the bed, enveloped in a haze, the vivid images and emotions clinging to my thoughts until a sharp knock on the door pulled me back to the present. "Jackson, step outside with me for a moment and let's gather some vegetables for dinner." Her remarks, as always, navigated the delicate line between urgency and tenderness. I replied affirmatively, asking for a moment, and swiftly rose to my feet, adjusting my attire, oblivious to the absence of my undergarments as I made my way to the living room. My gaze was instantly captivated by Mira Image. She wore a fitted t-shirt that accentuated her slender waist and short shorts that showcased her long, pale legs. Every one of those flawless lines left my mind momentarily paralyzed. The thoughts I had attempted to suppress surged forth like a tumultuous wave, an unusual feeling enveloping me. The rose within my heart bloomed with a blend of admiration and confusion, a riddle I found impossible to unravel. I endeavored to maintain my composure, to push aside the tumult of emotions surging within me as I drew closer to her. Yet my body betrayed my intentions, responding with a will of its own. I could sense my small member stirring to life, and to complicate things further, I had entirely overlooked the fact that I was without any undergarments. My whole being seemed to conspire against my thoughts, thrusting me into an uncomfortable and chaotic predicament. And then she erupted into laughter, her voice resonating through the stillness of the hall. She gazed at me, her eyes brimming with an ineffable emotion. Her laughter was a mystery to me. What seems to be the issue? Is there anything amusing? I attempted to mask my astonishment, yet her laughter only intensified, compelling her to turn away to escape my gaze. "Jackson, venturing out in this mirror isn't beneficial for you," she exclaimed, her hand covering her mouth as she struggled to suppress her laughter. I stood frozen, a mere statue in the heart of the living room, as her laughter echoed around me, leaving me utterly bewildered. I inquired, "What troubles you? Did I happen to do something amusing?" Yet she shook her head, striving to mask her embarrassment. "No, it's just a trivial matter. Ascend to the upper level." "I'll go alone," she said, her voice tinged with hesitation and gravity, as if she were attempting to mask an underlying truth. I remained rooted in place, gazing at her in a state of confusion. What was her initial motivation for wanting me to join her? Simply to direct her to proceed on her own? Though doubt lingered in my mind, I found myself at a loss for further inquiries. Upon re-entering the room, my mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. As I strolled by the mirror, my gaze lingered, and it dawned on me what had elicited her laughter. I found myself without undergarments, while my son had been proudly displaying his flag for some time. My cheeks ignited with the heat of embarrassment. I remained frozen, engulfed in humiliation, uncertain of my next move. The sound of her laughter lingered in my mind. "Were you unaware of that?" Clearly, she did. Otherwise, such a hearty laugh would not have escaped her lips. Yet what held her back from expressing it outright? What prompted her to softly request my departure? Upon my return to the room, a flurry of questions emerged, quickening the beat of my heart. Was she merely amused by the comical scenario, or was there a deeper intention behind her laughter? I reclined on the bed, my hands shielding my face, yearning to escape the weight of the unsettling emotions. Yet, the image of Myri, her joyous laughter, and that peculiar sense of disorientation lingered on. I found myself pondering whether she held me in the same regard as I did her, or if my insecurities were merely a product of chance. Regret swelled within my heart. Yet, amidst the shadows, a flicker of hope emerged, and upon returning home, she lingered in my thoughts, refusing to fade away. Embarrassment lingered within me, a shadow of the recent event. Though uncertainty clouded my thoughts, a part of me couldn't shake the feeling that she had caught a glimpse of something amusing moments before. The deeper I delved into my thoughts, the more my cheeks flushed, as though I had been discovered in a moment of wrongdoing. Yet, I compelled myself to maintain my composure and behave as though nothing was amiss. I chose to venture into the kitchen alongside my sister, intent on preparing dinner while attempting to mirror our usual demeanor. Upon entering, I immediately voiced my thoughts, as is my custom. Your back is present. Is the market bustling with a crowd of people? And chose not to look back. She responded succinctly, it's acceptable, though somewhat congested. Please enter and lend me your assistance. I approached her as she diligently washed the vegetables, nodding in acknowledgement. I settled into my task, methodically separating each branch of vegetable for her to ready for boiling. The room held a serene stillness, punctuated solely by the gentle trickle of water from the sink faucet. Yet within me, a tension lingered, quietly bubbling beneath the surface. I was uncertain whether she truly recognized the events that had just unfolded or if I was merely complicating matters. I believed that if I refrained from bringing it up again, everything would simply fade away. Yet, in that very instant, her voice pierced the air, causing me to freeze in place. Have you finished yet? I was utterly astonished. Her words struck me like a sudden jolt, unsettling my already fragile thoughts. Although I grasped the essence of her implication, I lacked the bravery to confront it. My entire being became still, caught in a moment of uncertainty, unsure of how to respond. My heart raced, yet I feigned ignorance to her meaning. I have completed the task of dismantling it. It ought to be fine, shouldn't it? She glanced my way, her eyes sparkling with a playful and capricious glint. She offered a gentle smile and a subtle nod. If you have finished, then let it be. I am able to proceed. Her voice carried an air of normalcy, yet beneath the surface of her words, I sensed an unusual undertone, part jest, part mischief, that left me feeling profoundly embarrassed. I remained silent, merely nodding as I rose to my feet, then made my way upstairs. Proceed with your thoughts. I felt a hint of fatigue wash over me, and with a subtle smile, I chose to remain silent. I slipped away from the kitchen, attempting to maintain an air of nonchalance. Yet my heart was a tempest as I returned to my room. I sank onto the bed, a wave of shame and embarrassment washing over me. Her question lingered in my mind, and I found myself pondering whether she truly understood my thoughts. I reclined on the bed, my hands shielding my face, engulfed by a sense of confusion and helplessness. I must exercise self-control. This is my sister, and indeed, she is my sister. I echoed it as a reminder, yet the vision of her in the kitchen, her smile, and her playful voice lingered in my mind. After the family had finished dinner, I found myself unable to escape that night. I retreated to my room, determined to tidy up the clutter that had accumulated in the corner of my desk. The stillness enveloped the room, broken only by the gentle chorus of insects serenading the night from beyond the window. As I busied myself with the task of arranging my books, a gentle knock at the door caught my attention. Who might it be? I inquired, my tone tinged with curiosity. It is we, just me. Mira's voice resonated with gentle and comforting familiarity. Could you assist me with a matter, if you please? I responded swiftly, no issue at all. What is it that you need? With each word, I drew closer and gently pushed the door open. Before anything else, my gaze was drawn to Mira, specifically to the pajamas she wore. The nightgown was a soft shade of light blue silk, gracefully complementing her flawless white skin with its delicate allure. The dress boasted a deep V-neck, elegantly showcasing her collarbone and slender shoulders. My heart raced, yet I endeavored to keep a composed facade. With a playful grin, she stepped into the room, her phone held tightly in her grasp. There appears to be an issue with my phone. It perplexes me that the program crashes each time I attempt to open it. I attempted to restart it, yet it proved ineffective. Would you be able to assist me? I acquiesced and accepted the phone from her grasp. Allow me to give it a go. It is probably merely a software problem, perhaps an app conflict or an operating system update, and remained as composed as ever. Her presence in this confined space, particularly clad in her pajamas, left me bewildered. I glanced at my phone and began to explore the settings. True to form, Her operating system was outdated and at odds with the latest version of the application. I conveyed that your phone requires an upgrade to its operating system. Allow me to download the latest update, reinstall it, and all will be well. Oh, is that so? What a relief. Fear gripped me at the thought that it might be broken. She spoke, her tone gentle and unhurried as I leaned down, grappling with the download. The update brought with it a palpable sense of her gaze upon me. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a fleeting glimpse of her. Her gaze wasn't fixed on the phone or my actions. Instead, her eyes were directed downward, resting upon me. In that moment, she offered a smile, one that was enigmatic and beyond my comprehension. I halted, striving to mask my embarrassment. Yet within me, my confusion swelled to an overwhelming degree. I recognized that expression, understood what she had just witnessed, yet I lacked the courage to confront it or articulate it. I managed to reinstall it. I stammered, attempting to dispel the uncomfortable silence that hung in the air. Oh, is it really that quick? Thanks, she replied, a subtle smile lingering on her lips. She reclaimed the phone from my grasp, her gaze flickering momentarily to my face, as though seeking to measure my response. It's merely a trivial error, nothing more, I responded, striving to maintain an air of tranquility. Yet beneath the surface, I was acutely aware that this serenity was merely a mask. Her appearance and delicate gestures today stirred a torrent of feelings that I struggled to rein in. Having returned Myri's phone and believing the matter concluded, I readied myself to rise and watch her exit the room. Before I could utter a word, she pivoted, leaning in closer, and asked if something was amiss. From across the table, she inquired, her voice gentle yet laden with significance. Do I appear beautiful? Jackson, the unforeseen inquiry left me pondering how best to respond. I offered a hesitant smile, searching for a means to divert his attention. Isn't it simply exquisite? What has prompted you to ask that all of a sudden? Is there an issue? And that is precisely why you offered your salute. Her words struck me like a thunderbolt, causing a rush of blood to my face, my heart racing, and my entire being engulfed in confusion, unsure of how to respond. I swiftly shook my head, denying it at once. No, it's not like that. What are you thinking? Yet her gaze remained fixed on me, and that subtle smile only deepened my sense of embarrassment. With each deliberate step, she drew nearer, and I couldn't shake the sensation that the confines of this small room were closing in around me. I took a step back, attempting to maintain some space, yet in an instant, she surged forward, gripping my shoulders with both hands, her face mere centimeters from my own. Jackson, what are you afraid of? We are both grown, and I can sense your thoughts. I have witnessed it all before. I averted my gaze, unwilling to meet her eyes. What exactly are you referring to? Cease the jesting. It lacks humor. Yet, she persisted, inching nearer, her warm breath grazing my neck, intensifying my anxiety like never before. Jackson, what is it that keeps you from reaching out to me? I understand your desire. Mara's voice was gentle, yet her words cut deep, slicing through my thoughts. The atmosphere grew heavy, and my heart raced fiercely, as if it were on the verge of breaking free from my chest. Don't say it, I urged, my voice quivering yet resolute, a barrier against the encroaching threat. I took a step back, putting space between us, my gaze fixed intently on her. Do you understand the weight of your words? This is utterly wrong, and you are my sister. Her eyes flashed with pain for a fleeting moment as she stepped closer, her voice low and almost pleading. Jackson, stop lying to yourself. I can see everything in your eyes. You don't need to hide or fake your emotions. I felt my entire body freeze, yet my mind was strong enough to resist. I took a deep breath, striving to maintain my composure amid the confusion and anxiety swirling within me. No, you're wrong. I don't think like that. I don't want that. We are brothers. We are family. She paused, her face etched with misery and guilt, her eyes searching mine for a sign to continue. But I remained resolute, determined not to let her proceed any further. Finally, she turned her eyes away, as though the truth was too daunting to face. Her voice fell to a mournful whisper. I'm sorry. I, I'm not sure why I'm like this. Maybe I should go back to my room. With that, she turned, each deliberate step pulling the heavy, uncomfortable air that lingered in the room after the door clicked shut. I sank onto the bed, feeling as if I had just emerged from the eye of a fierce storm. My thoughts spiraled into chaos, an inescapable whirlwind. Mira words echoed relentlessly in my mind, each phrase piercing through the facade I had carefully constructed. She insisted I need not feign affection, and her statements felt like a betrayal of the emotions I had fought so hard to bury. Even as I grappled with the truth of her assertions, I found myself unwilling to concede her accuracy. Despite the weight of my feelings, I clung to the rationality that she was my sister, a boundary that must never be crossed. I became acutely aware of the perilous nature of the situation. Her every word and action had shattered the delicate boundary that once existed between us. If I allowed myself to lose control, even for a moment, everything would unravel beyond the point of no return. I found myself in the desolate room, my heart heavy with sorrow, caught in a web of uncertainty about whom to hold accountable, her or myself for allowing it to escalate to this point. That night, sleep eluded me as I lay in bed, gazing at the dark ceiling, mulling over the events that had transpired in the span of a single day. My relationship with her had transformed profoundly. I recalled her eyes, her smile, and the unspoken words that lingered in the air. She was the one I had always admired, the one I felt closest to. Yet now, everything had become so intricate that I found it difficult to confront the uncertainty of tomorrow. If I remained here, would I ultimately lose my grip on myself? I realized that regardless of the intensity of human emotions, they seem resist temptation if it persists, and I found myself too close, too familiar, and it felt overwhelmingly daunting. I feared that without some distance, all boundaries would blur into nothingness. After a long night of contemplation, I resolved to take a bold step. It became clear to me that there was only one path forward to safeguard myself from making an irreversible choice. I had to leave. I needed to create enough space to prevent these emotions from surfacing. This was not merely a solution to the immediate predicament, but the only means to preserve our cherished family bonds. The following morning, as the family gathered for breakfast, I made the decision to share my intentions with them. My tone was grave yet filled with confusion. Mom and Dad, I suppose I'm going to move out. My father set down his teacup, his gaze fixed on me in astonishment. Why do you suddenly want to leave? At your age, wouldn't it be easier to remain at home? Is there an issue at hand? My mother gazed at me, her eyes filled with concern. Is something wrong, Jackson? Or do you sense a discomfort within the walls of your own abode? Kindly share your thoughts. There's no need for hesitation. I attempted to wear a smile to sway my parents, even as my own feelings waged a silent battle within me. No, Mom and Dad, I simply sense that I've matured and must embrace a greater sense of independence. I am convinced that venturing out will teach me to manage myself and equip me more effectively for what lies ahead. My father frowned, deep in thought, yet ultimately acquiesced. If this is your choice, we will honor it. However, should you encounter any challenges, do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can always come back home. He then glanced at my mother, whose worry was evident, though she remained silent. It's essential to prioritize your well-being. Do you require help with selecting a home, relocating your possessions, or any other matters? I understood that this was the most prudent choice for both Mira and me. I required time and space to navigate these emotions, to rediscover my true self and maintain the unity of our family after all I had endured. An important lesson emerged. While emotions can be difficult to handle, they are not insurmountable. In moments of vulnerability, we can easily become engulfed in murky feelings, straying from the path of morality and familial bonds. However, remaining aware of right and wrong and exercising sound judgment are essential in averting irreversible errors. It is my conviction that expressing one's emotions is not inherently flawed. Rather, it is crucial to grasp the importance of establishing appropriate boundaries. Distance is not merely a means of escape. It serves to safeguard the more vital principles of love, respect, and self-worth. The most profound lesson I have gleaned is that true courage encompasses not only the act of confronting challenges but also the wisdom to recognize when to step away in order to preserve what is most precious. Choosing to exit a perilous situation does not signify weakness. Instead, it is a vital decision aimed at protecting oneself and those in one's orbit from the potential harm of the narrative. I offer this counsel to all. In the journey of life, we inevitably encounter unexpected events that evoke powerful emotions. These feelings, whether fleeting or enduring, can lead us astray if we lack the tools to manage them effectively. Therefore, it is wise to remain vigilant and conscious of our boundaries in every interaction. When you find yourself ensnared in a whirlwind of emotion, take a moment to pause and reflect. Is this feeling truly worth compromising what you hold dear? Embracing mindfulness and self-reflection can illuminate how impulsive actions may threaten the values you cherish. In the realm of familial bonds, honor, and self-esteem, if you find yourself struggling to maintain control, do not hesitate to distance yourself or seek support from loved ones or a mental health professional. Avoidance is not a weakness. It is a strategy for safeguarding yourself against deeper harm. Keep in mind that the choices you make today can shape both your future and that of others. Upholding your boundaries and staying true to your beliefs and principles is the most effective path to a peaceful and fulfilling life. My narrative concludes here. I appreciate your attention to my journey. Until we meet again in the next videos.